pattern of years. It happened to all of our clients and their children, and in many instances it resulted in profoundly negative consequences that could have easily been avoided were they not the victims of this scheme, including missing so many days of school as a result of spending time in juvenile detention on bogus charges, that they were forcibly withdrawn basically from school. Another way of saying that they were kicked out.
Well, and it sounds to like it's a self-perpetuating system, because once you get on the list, then they come by and they inspect you more, and then they find more stuff that they can get you on, and then that continues to keep you on the list moving forward. It's almost like Minority Report meets Broken Windows policing in this kind of dystopian future.
That's exactly right. They really had two basic goals when they were coming to people's houses. The first was, let's see if we can find some evidence of some sort of wrongdoing or essentially trump it up.
Should we tell me what's violation?
Accumulation of breach?
Same thing, right?
What else we got? I don't know. Piece of fence.
And if they couldn't do that, if they couldn't find some reason to arrest you, if they couldn't find some reason to cite you, then they would just harass you and intimidate you. Because, as I was saying, the second goal of this program, failing to find a basis for an arrest, was to just get people to leave the county. They weren't actually trying to accomplish anything in the traditional law enforcement sense. They were just, it was either we're going to find a reason to arrest them or we're going to intimidate them into moving out of the county.
And the way that they were harassing people was also, sort of lots of fines for kind of harmless code violations and things that we would more traditionally see in sort of a fines and fees case context, right?
That's right. They weaponize their code enforcement department. Typically, in any municipality, you're going to have your police who do traditional police things, and then you'll have a code enforcement department that has civilian code enforcement officers that write citations as needed for whatever violations, some big, some small, and that's another podcast. But here, the Pasco County Sheriff's Office brought the code enforcement department under its wing, subsumed it essentially, and had a sworn law enforcement officer deputy who was tasked with enforcing the codes. And not surprisingly, that person spent most of their time focused on issuing code violations to prolific offenders and their families. And so, as I was saying before, with the goal being to bring charges against people or intimidate them into moving, one of the ways they were intimidating people into moving was through the use of code enforcement citations. If they went there and they couldn't find another reason to arrest you, or if they sensed the slightest bit of noncompliance with their demands, they would then call in their code enforcement guy who would walk around the property, sometimes going on the property even without a warrant, to find code violations and write people up for them. That would require you to come into court, and that introduced a whole slew of other problems.